Okay, good morning everyone, and to our STEAM instructor, Ma'am Bunny, and to my brilliant classmates, a very pleasant day to you all. So I am Ms. Vi. I am thrilled to be one of your discussants for today's lesson. Okay, but before we dive into our discussions, let us first acknowledge our Heavenly Father. May I invite everyone to please close your eyes and bow your head as I lead the prayer. So dear Lord, thank you for this day and the opportunity to learn. Bless our minds and hearts as we study this subject. May you help us understand, remember, and apply what we learn. Guide us to use our knowledge wisely and responsibly. Keep us focused and motivated, and bless our efforts. Thank you for your love and guidance. We trust in you and pray in Jesus' name. Amen. So today, class, we're going to dive into the captivating world of historical fiction, and specifically, we'll be exploring one of its most poignant examples, the story Number the Stars by L.LOWRY. This book, class, is a true gem, and I'm excited to share its layers with you. So let's now proceed to the next slide. So to kick things off and get our minds warm up, let's begin with a short pre-activity. So this will give you class some clues about the themes and ideas we'll be discussing today. So here's how our pre-activity will work. On the next few slides, I'll show you a series of images, and your task is to guess what these images intend to convey, what they show, or what emotions or ideas they evoke in you. So but don't overthink it, just share your initial thoughts and impressions. So I'll be calling in some of you, so be ready. So is everyone clear on the instructions? You have any question, class? Okay, if none, let's proceed. Alright, let's start with our first image. Take a good look at this book cover, class. So based on what you see, what do you think might be the title of this book, or what themes does it suggest? Anyone? Yes, Miss La, you recognize? Okay, that's an interesting guess. Thank you for sharing, Miss La. Anyone else have a different idea? Okay, thank you for that. Let's see if you guess it right. Kindly proceed to the next slide. Okay, the title, class, of this book, as some of you might already know or have clearly guessed, is indeed Number the Stars. So good job, class. Thank you for all of your wonderful guesses. So another one. Let's move on to another next clue, a short passage. Please listen carefully as I read it aloud, and then from this passage, I want you to guess or infer what important traits are being shown and conveyed by the characters. So here are the possible answers, class. It can be sacrifice, kindness, generosity, bravery, selfishness, etc. So just guess what important traits being highlighted or conveyed by the characters in this passage. So is it clear, class? Are you now ready? Okay, let me read it first. So when soldiers burst into the Johansson's apartment and question who Ellen is, Annie Marie quickly hides her and claims Ellen is her sister. Even though she's terrified of the soldiers, she protects Ellen from being identified as Jewish and taken away. So in here, class, what traits do you observe in Annie Marie from this short passage? So what does this tell us about her character? Okay, who want to try to answer? Yes, Miss La, you recognize? Okay, thank you. Who else? Yes, Miss La. Okay, thank you for that. Any other answer? Yes, you recognize, Miss La. Okay, thank you for your guesses, class. Then let's see if you got the correct answer. Then, okay, thank you. Okay, then let's see if they got the correct answer. Can you flash the next slide, please? Okay, excellent observation, class. You've highlighted some key characteristics. So the passage is indeed showcases traits like love, care, bravery, and courage. So Annie Marie's action, class, despite her fear, clearly demonstrate these powerful qualities as she protects her friend. So but in here, class, the exact answer is courage. So Miss Bla is correct. Very good for that, Miss Bla. So in this passage, class, the character was shown a courageous spirit or action. So did you understand, class? Okay, thank you. Then let's now proceed to the next. Alright, this is the last picture. Take a moment to look at this photograph, class. So in here, what do you think this photo shows or implies? What message does it convey? Wants to answer? Yes, Miss La. Okay, any other hand? Yes, Miss La. Okay, another guesses? Who else? Yes, you recognize Mr. Bla. Okay, one more. Yes, Miss Bla, you recognize too. Okay, thank you for your guesses, class. Let's see which answer is exact and correct. Let's now proceed to slide 13. Okay, so the exact answer is friendship. So you guessed it right, Mr. Bla. Thank you for that. So this image, class, beautifully captures the essence of friendship. The bond between these two girls is quite evident, and friendship is one of the central themes in our story that we'll be talking today. Thank you, class, for your active participation in our pre-activity. So for those who answered correct, let's give them a virtual clap and a heart reaction. And for those who did not guess it right, let's also give them a virtual claps. So, okay, thank you, everybody. So, okay, thank you, class. So these elements of the story titled Number the Stars, its traits like bravery and courage and the strong theme of friendship These are all integral to the historical fiction novel that we'll be exploring today. So the characters gave us a glimpse into the profound story of courage and human connection set against a very challenging historical backdrop. So now let's move forward and delve deeper into Number the Stars and the broader genre of historical fiction. So now that our minds are warmed up, let's look at what we aim to achieve by the end of our discussion today. So this is our learning objectives. First, we will identify and describe the item and the plot of the story setting. So in here, we'll place Number the Stars in its specific time and place. Then second, we will analyze how the setting contributes to and shapes the story's important themes. So the where and when of a story is never just a background class. It's crucial to understanding the characters' experiences. And then third, we will evaluate how literary techniques such as symbolism and foreshadowing reinforce the illustrated themes. So we'll look at the author's craft and how she uses language to deepen our understanding. So with our objectives in mind, let's officially kick off our discussion on historical fiction and the Number the Stars within the context of children's and adolescents literature. So today we are specifically delving into L.LOWRY's Number the Stars, a powerful piece of historical fiction. So our journey will focus on exploring themes of courage and humanity during World War II in Denmark. So let's start class by clarifying what we mean by historical fiction. So here's the definition. Who wants to read the historical definition? The definition of historical? Yes, Miss Da. Can you read please? Okay, thank you for reading. The term historical comes from the Greek word historia, meaning inquiry or knowledge acquired by investigation. So right here from the root word class, we know it involves looking back and understanding the past. And it also involves looking for the evidences, the witnesses, or valid records. So, do you understand class? Is it clear now? The term historical comes from the Greek word historia, meaning to inquire, inquiry. Okay, who can read the definition of the historical fiction? Yes, Miss La? Okay, thank you for reading, Miss La. So in short class, historical fiction blends facts and imagination to bring history to life, helping us to understand what life was like during that era through a personal and engaging story. So for example, class, think of a movie like the Titanic. So do you know the story about Titanic, class? Have you watched it before? Okay, I believe some of you have already watched the story about the Titanic. So in Titanic, class, the ship, the sinking, and many characters like the captain, they were real historical elements of the story. But Jack and Rose's love story was only fictional, and it allows us to emotionally connect with the historical event. So another example, class, is a book like The Diary of Anne Frank. So who knows this story? Do you know the story about The Diary of Anne Frank? Okay, I think some of you knows this book. So this book, class, is a real historical document, but a fictionalized account around it would be historical fiction. So this is just according to my research, class. And if you want, you can also search about that book. So again, the title of that book is The Diary of Anne Frank. So are we clear with this, class? So just take note that historical fiction blends fact and imagination to bring history to life. Let's now proceed with our discussion. So why historical fiction matters? So bakit kaya is the historical fiction is so important, and especially for young readers? I'm gonna call somebody to read the first bullet and then share your little insights about this. Okay, I want to hear your voice, Miss Black. Can you read the first bullet and then share what you understand in this what you understand in the first bullet. Just share your insight. Okay, thank you for sharing your insight, Miss Bla. That's a very helpful insights. So how about the second bullet? Yes, Miss Bla, you recognize. Okay, thanks also for your insights, Miss Bla. Your insights, class, are appreciated. Okay, for the third bullet, wants to read? Yes, go on, Miss Bla. Okay, thank you for your very own insights. And finally, another one, please. May I call on Miss Bla? Okay, go on to the last bullet, please. Okay, thank you for your wonderful insights, class, about this question, about why historical fiction matters. Okay, for those who read and share their ideas, thank you for your very own insightful ideas. So in our literature class, this genre helps and encourages us to value our own cultural heritage. It allows us to experience those times by putting ourselves in that era to understand the real situation and the real emotions involved. So this helps us figure out which decisions to make when we encounter similar situation, using the lessons we've encountered to create a better decision or future. So that is why the historical fiction matters. Now let's shift our focus specifically to the book that embodies these aspects of historical fiction so powerfully, the book entitled Number the Stars. So let's talk first about the author. So first, a little about the brilliant mind behind this novel. She is Louise L.LOWRY, and she was born, class, on March 20, 1937 in Honolulu, Hawaii. So she is a highly acclaimed American author and known for her incredible contributions to children's literature. L.LOWRY is an award-winning author, and she notably receiving 2 prestigious medals. The Newbery medals for her works. The first was in 1990 for Number the Stars, and the first was in 1990 for Number the Stars itself, and the second was in 1994 for her book The Giver. It is another one of her celebrated novels. So this one tells us class the caliber of her storytelling. So when we say caliber class, this means ang sukatan ng kanyang husay sa larangan ng literatura. So let's continue. And this is one of the highest international honors for children's literature, recognizing her global impact. So in addition to her literary awards, L.LOWRY has also been recognized for her contributions to children's literature and education, showing her dedication not just to writing, but to nurturing young minds. And she has received honorary degrees from several universities, including Brown University, and has been even served as an ambassador for the United Nations World Food Program. So this highlights her commitment to humanitarian causes, a theme that often resonates in her work, including Number the Stars. Okay, do you understand, class? Okay, thank you for your responses. Let's come now to the main characters. Let's meet the heart of our story. So we have Annie Marie Johansson and Ellen Rosen. These 2 young girls are best friends, and their deep bond is central to the narrative. And of course, the story revolves around the crucial actions of their respective families, the Johansson family and the Rosen family. Their interwoven lives drive the plot forward. When we say interwoven, class, it means magkakabit, magkadugtong, magkasama. So later on, malalaman natin kung paano nila hinarap yung nakita ang kanilang tatag bilang magkaibigan sa kanilang kwento. Okay, let's proceed to the slide 24. Let's come now to the settings and the main plot. Let's firmly establish the setting and the main plot of Number the Stars. The story happened in 1943 in Copenhagen, Denmark, during the time when the Nazis occupied the country. This historical backdrop is critical. The war and occupation define the daily lives and the immense challenges faced by the characters. So the main plot, class, is the story of Annie Marie Johansson helping her Jewish friend Ellen Rosen escape from danger to safety. So it is a tale of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in a time of great danger. So later on, we'll know what happened. So let's come now to the core narrative of the story. So who wants to read for the first bullet? Yes, Miss Blah, can you read, please? Okay, thank you for reading, Miss Blah. So in here, class, the story, class, happened in 1943 in the capital city of Denmark, in Copenhagen city, during the time when it was occupied by the Nazis. So it was occupied, class, by the Nazis in 1943. So the so-called class Nazis are the German soldiers and officers. So Germany is part of Western Europe or sometimes Central Europe. So while it shares a border with Denmark, its geographical and cultural classification places it outside of the Northern Europe. So Denmark is the Nordic country in Northern Europe. It is the most populous constituent of the Kingdom of Denmark, which also includes autonomous territories of the Faroe Islands and the Greenland in the North Atlantic Ocean. So when we say Nordic country, class, it refers to a group of nations in Northern Europe and the North Atlantic that share deep historical, cultural, and political ties. So back to the core narrative, it's all about a 10-year-old girl named Annie Marie Johansson. She is a Danish girl, meaning she is from Denmark, and her best friend Ellen Rosen was a Jewish girl. So for the second bullet, wants to read? Yes, Mr. Blah. Can you read, please? Okay, class, when the Nazis, class, decided to arrest and take away all the Jewish people, the Rosen family had to go into hiding. Nagtago po sila. So to keep Ellen safe, she pretended to be Annie Marie's sister named Liz, so that the soldiers would not know she was a Jewish. So do you understand this, class? Okay, I think all of you understand naman. So bakit kaya? Why did the Nazis decide to arrest and take away all the Jewish people? So these are the few reasons, class. These are some reasons, class. So first, it is because of hatred and prejudice. So when we say hatred, class, pagkamuhi, prejudice o pang-discriminate o panghusga. But what are their reason for hating Jews? So it is because they blame the Jews for their problems, and because after World War I, the Germany was very poor and sad. And their leader, Adolf Hitler, told the German people, he said that it is not our fault. They, the Jewish people, they are the reason. It is their fault because they stole our money and caused our defeat. So although, class, this was just a lie made by Adolf Hitler, yet many Germans believed in him. So another reason, because they thought, class, that they are superior. So Hitler believed that German people, or the Aryan race, because at that time, class, they were called the Aryan race. The German people believe that they are the Aryan race. So Hitler believed that they are the best and the most perfect race in the world. So do you understand, class? Okay, thank you for the responses. So he thought that Jewish people, along with the other groups, such as Polish people, Slavic people, he thought that they are disabled people and that they did not deserve to live. So kung ayaw nila sila mabuhay, class, ayaw ni Hitler sila mabuhay mga Jewish, that means they are planning to eliminate them, and they plan to kill all the Jewish people. So another reason why they decided to arrest and take away all the Jewish people, because they were jealous. So why are they jealous kaya? It is because many Jewish people were hardworking, successful doctors, businessmen, and shop owners. So since they are jealous, the Nazi people, they desire to take their money, houses, and businesses for themselves. So by the way, class, the Jewish people are prayerful and faithful Christian believers, and they are also recorded in the ancient book, the Bible, the first book, the Bible, and it is and they are recorded there that they are the so-called people of God, the Jewish people. That is why they are known as a blessed people. So kaya ganun na lang nila ka-hate yung mga Jewish people. So another reason, class, is their old hatred. So what are their old hatred kaya towards the Jewish people? So their old hatred, class, is about the difference of religious beliefs or God. So even hundreds of years ago, some people still hate the Jewish people, especially their current leader at the time, named Adolf Hitler. Hitler used this old anger to make people follow him. So do you understand, class? Is that clear? Okay, thank you for your responses. So who wants to read the third bullet? Yes, Miss Blanc. Okay, thank you for reading. So in here, class, let me give you a short summary of the story. So it says here that it is about the two best friends. When the Nazis wanted to arrest the Jews, Ellen pretended to be Annie Marie's sister to hide. So nagsinungaling si Ellen na nagpanggap siya na kapatid siya ni Annie Marie. At si Annie Marie naman, pinakilala siya bilang isang kanyang kapatid na si Liz. So nagsinungaling si Annie Marie na kapatid niya si Ellen. At kunwari, ang pangalan ni Ellen ay ang pangalan ng kanyang kapatid na si Liz. So in this story, Annie Marie showed a great bravery, and by hiding the Stars of David necklace and delivering important items to help everyone escape to safety. So in the end, they were saved and they waited for each other to meet again. So do you understand, class, the summary of the story? Okay, thank you for active listening, class, and for your responses. So let's now proceed to the fourth bullet. So who wants to read? Okay, thank you for reading. So in here, Annie Marie and Ellen went to Annie Marie's Uncle Henrik's farm. And Annie Marie and Ellen play by the beach near Uncle Henrik's farm, collecting and talking about seashells. It's quite a gentle moment that reminds them for their childhood, normal life, and happy times before the war. So their class, Annie Marie and Ellen, they discover that her Uncle Henrik helps the Danish resistance, who secretly brings Jewish people to safety in Sweden, and which wasn't involved in the war. So ang ibig sabihin, class, they discover na nalaman ni Annie Marie and Ellen na ang kanyang tiyuhin na si Uncle Henrik ay tinutulungan niya ang mga Danish resistance upang dalhin o itago ang mga Jewish people sa Sweden. So do you understand, class? So this means, class, they found out that Sweden is not involved in the war. That is why they believe that that area is not involved and is safe as their hiding place. So is that clear, class? So Sweden at that time, in World War II, 1940 to 1945, Sweden was directly across the sea, northeast of Denmark, separated only by the narrow Western Strait. The Western Strait, class, is the narrow sea channel between Denmark and Sweden. So based on my research, it's only 4 km to 8 km wide, and it's just a short boat ride across. It was right next to Denmark, across a short boat ride. That's exactly why Uncle Henrik could easily smuggled people there. When say smuggled, patago o maingat o illegal na dinadala doon yung mga Jewish people para itago sila at para mailigtas sa kamay ng mga Nazis, kamay ng mga German people, mga German officers. And why it was the safest place kaya? Because, class, Sweden remained neutral and never got occupied by the Nazi Germany. So at that time, Sweden stayed completely out of World War II. They did not help or fight against Germany or be their allies. So that is why there are no enemy soldiers invaded or controlled their land. So it was really safe for the refugees. So saan nga po, class, dinala or smuggle yung mga Jewish people sa Sweden. So because yung Sweden, class, ay hindi siya na-invade, hindi siya na-control. Kaya hindi siya na-control ng mga enemy soldiers, ng German soldiers. So is the story clear, class? Is the story clear, class? Do you have any question about this? If none, let's proceed. So let's now proceed to the next slide. So let's talk about its themes. So the lessons or themes of the story, class, is courage, friendship and family bonds, resistance, sacrifice, humanity, loss of innocence and growing up, the nature of good and evil. So in here, class, courage, meaning being brave even if you are scared. So this means, according to the story, is doing brave things even when you are afraid. And this was shown when Annie Marie travels alone and passed through the soldiers. And when ordinary people like Uncle Henrik risk their lives to help others even though they could be caught or hurt. And also Annie Marie's quick lies to protect Ellen and her Jewish friend. And in friendship and family bonds, means loving and protecting one another. So in here, deep loyalty and love that keeps people together and safe. So it was seen in Anne Marie protecting Ellen like a sister, and the whole family working together to hide Jewish people and keeping promises to friends even when apart. And then in resistance, so when we say resistance class, ito yung nire-resist nila. Hindi sila pumapayag, kumbaga, ngunit sa matalinong pamamaraan. So in here, based on the story, it means standing up against unfair or cruel rules or rulers and fighting back in a quiet but powerful ways. So this is the Danish people, that the secret group, including Uncle Henrik, that's secretly opposing the Nazis and helping Jewish people escape instead of following orders. And then in sacrifice, it means doing what is right, even it will possibly put you into danger. So in here, class, based on the story, sacrifice is giving up safety, comfort, or safety of your own life, like for someone else's good. So in the story, the characters risked their freedom and lives, and they gave up their home and safety just so others can live and be free. And then humanity. So when we say humanity, it is choosing to be good despite evil. So when we say humanity, it is choosing good. It is choosing to be good despite of evil. So ito yung pagiging nananatiling makatao. So this means, class, according to the story, this means humanity means kindness, care, and moral goodness shown toward the other people, even strangers. It is seeing people as human beings instead of enemies or targets. It's choosing to help those in danger simply because it is the right thing they need to do. And then a loss of innocence and growing up. So the change from being a child who only knows simple things to understanding the hard, cruel realities of the world. Anne Marie starts as a girl playing games, but learns about fear, war, and danger. And she matures and understands what bravery and duty really mean. So do you understand, class? Okay. And lastly, the nature of good and evil. So in the story, this means that the clear difference between cruelty and kindness. So evil is shown through the Nazi soldiers and their unfair ruling, and good is shown through the people who chose to protect, help, and save others, proving that goodness always exists even in dark times. So those are the very inspiring and interesting themes of this story, the Number the Stars. So were you inspired, class, with the story? Yes, this story is a very inspiring story, especially for all of us as a student, because its main theme is courage and friendship. Okay, do you have any question, class? How about additional insights? Okay, if none, let's now proceed to the next slide. The historical context. So remember, class, that the historical fiction blends the facts and imagination or fiction. And now that we're done discussing the fiction in the story, let's now go back to the real history that shaped this story. So this happened during World War II and the Holocaust. So here's the detail of historical context. So in April 9, 1940, class, is the year of invasion. And Germany launched a military operation called Operation Westerobung, and quickly took control of Denmark, starting their occupation. So Germany took over full control of Denmark's land, cities, and government. Nazi soldiers entered, stayed, and ruled the country. This was the beginning of 5 years of German rule over Denmark. And then in the second bullet, in 1940 up to 1943, these are the year of initial occupation. So Denmark kept its own laws and leaders at home. But Germany fully controlled all its international relations and decisions. So it means Denmark could not make its own choices with other countries. And Denmark still ran its own daily life, laws inside the country, but any deals, agreements, or relations with other nations, like Germany, is the one who decided everything. And Denmark had to follow what Germany said or instructed. And in the third bullet, in August 29, 1943, it was the government resignation. The Danish government refused to follow German orders. Germany reacted by taking full, direct rule over the whole country. And the Danish government said no to German orders, like arresting Jewish people or harsher rules. Because they refused, the Germany removed the Danish government entirely and took full, direct power over every part of Denmark. No more local leaders, and the Nazis ruled everything directly, forcefully. So this is exactly the time in Number the Stars when danger got worse and the escape plan for the Jewish people began. So did you understand, class? Okay, thank you. So for the fourth bullet, in May 1945, is the year for liberation for the Denmark people and the Jews. So in May 1945, this is when the World War II ended. German forces left Denmark completely, and the country was finally free from occupation. So Denmark was set free from Nazi rule, and the country got back its full freedom and their own government. So is this clear, class? Do you have any question with this? Do you understand? Okay, if none, if there's no question na, well, let's now proceed to the slide 31. It's about the Danish Jewish community and rescue during World War II. So, in the first bullet, it says that the secret group fighting the Nazis became much stronger. When news came, Germany would arrest all the Jewish people in Denmark. The whole country united to save them, and this was the most important moment of the rescue. It shows that danger united the whole country. The Nazi plan triggered a massive nationwide rescue effort. And for the second bullet, it says that everyone helped. Regular people, even regular people, police and religious leaders worked side by side, breaking Nazi rules to hide and protect and move the Jewish families to safety. It shows everyone helped together, and even ordinary people, and no one stood aside. They all worked and helped all the Jewish refugees. And for the third bullet, it says here that using boats and secret roads, they secretly carried nearly all Jewish people across the sea to Sweden, where Nazis could not hurt or catch them. It shows that the rescue was successful in large scale, and thousands were safely brought to Sweden, away from harm. And in the fourth bullet, it says that because they acted fast and together, and almost every Jewish person in Denmark survived, one of the highest survival rates in all of Europe during World War II. So this means that the effort was extraordinarily effective. Nearly all Danish Jews were saved. That is a rare and amazing result of unity and the humanitarian aid or their great friendship. So are we clear with this, class? Do you understand? Have you learned something about this lesson, about this historical fiction, Number the Stars? Okay, very good. Thank you for your active listening. So let's come now to slide 32. Let's come now to slide 32, the literary elements and devices. So this section, class, shows how characters change and what objects stand for deeper ideas. So this class helps us to understand the story very well. So in here, Anne-Marie Johansen, she changes and grows. So starts as a careful, ordinary child, but becomes courageous, bold, and willing to risk danger to help others. So this shows her coming of age and maturity through the story. And Ellen Rosen, she is Anne-Marie's closest friend. She's a Jewish, and she was in danger. And the Johansen family hides and protects her like their own daughter, and she represents all Jewish people facing persecution and shows the power of friendship and care. And then another character is Peter Nielsen. So he is part of the Danish resistance class. He is fighting secretly against the Nazis, and he was engaged to Anne-Marie's older sister, Liz, who died earlier. And he represents bravery, sacrifice, and people who risk everything to fight for what is right. And then the symbolism. In symbolism, the symbols are the objects or things that stands for deeper meanings or ideas in a story. So one of the symbols, class, of the story is the Star of David. So it is the special symbol of Jewish faith and identity. So ito yung Star of David, class, ito yung symbol ng kanilang pananampalataya at ng kanilang pagkakakilanlan. Kaya kung nakasuot si Ellen ng Star of David, they will easily identify her as a Jewish people. And in the story, it also shows how Jewish people were marked, targeted, and hunted down by the Nazis. It is both pride and danger. And then another symbol is seashells. So they remind everyone of happy, peaceful times before the war began. This stands for childhood innocence, the normal life, and the simple joys that war took away. So that is the symbol of seashells. And another symbol is the stars in general. So at first, stars makes Anne-Marie feel sad, lost, or hopeless because things are dark and scary. Later, they mean guidance. Later, it means guidance, hope, and light, like a sign that help and safety are coming. So these are wonderful symbols in the story. Okay, is it clear? Let's now proceed to slide 34. So the atmosphere, class, the atmosphere of the story feels tense and scary because of the war and Nazi presence, but also full of bravery and people helping each other. And the point of view and the narrative style of the story, it's told from Anne-Marie's view. It's told from Annie Marie's view. So we only know what she says, feels, and knows, but the writing is simple and direct, just like how a young girl experiences and understands events. Let's now proceed to slide 35, the impact and the legacy of the novel. So in left part, Number the Stars makes real history come alive and easy to make and easy to imagine. So in left part, Number the Stars makes real history come alive and easy to imagine. It shows readers how powerful and important courage is, even in very dangerous hard times. And in right part, it is not just a history story. It shows how normal people and families did amazing, brave things to help others. It teaches us to care and understand what happened in the past. So is that clear, class? Okay, thank you for that. Let's come now to slide 36, the critical acclaim. So critical acclaim, class, meaning it is a high praise, respect, and good reviews from experts, critics, and readers. So the book is highly praised because it shows deeply moving, touching, and real how war changes, hurts, and affects children's lives, feelings, and childhood. It is honored and trusted because it tells the story of the Holocaust accurately, truthfully, and realistically, based on facts and history. Let's now proceed to slide 37. It's about the educational value. It is the educational value and relevance today. So it teaches kids about this history in an easy, relatable way. Slide 37. So this is educational values. So this is the educational value and relevance today. So this story teaches kids about this history in an easy, relatable way through the eyes of children, through the eyes of a child at their age, so they can understand and connect better. It explains big, hard ideas like doing the right thing even when afraid, in simple words and stories, so anyone can grasp it easily. It teaches and shows us what true courage is and how important friendship is and how to stay strong and keep going even during the hard times. Let's come now to the insights. Wrap up, Q&A, or reflection. So do you have any additional insight, class, or a reflection about this lesson? Who wants to share your insights? Yes, Miss Bla? Okay, Miss Bla. I really appreciate your insights. Thank you for your wonderful insight about this lesson. So your insights, class, your participation, your active listening are all appreciated. So let's now proceed to slide 39. So remember, class, that historical fiction, it blends fact and imagination to bring history to life, helping readers understand what life was like during that era through a story. So here's the lesson learned from the story. The narrative instills a profound lesson on human dignity, the consequences of prejudice, and the enduring power of resistance against oppression. Let's never forget this lesson, class. So that would be all from this topic. Let's come now to the post activity. So I'll be giving a class a post activity. So in here, class, so this is called, class, the matching task. It includes the characters, themes, and historical context of Number the Stars. So first, you will see two columns below. And column A are the list of characters, key years, and main themes from the story. And the column B provides their corresponding rules, details, or definition. Your task is to match each item in column A to its correct description in column B. So I'll be giving you, class, 5 minutes to answer, and just send your answer in our chat box and a copy of your answers in our GC. Later, I'll be checking your activity. So I'll be waiting for your answers. So are you done with your activity, class? Okay. If you are all done, are you all done? Okay, if everybody is finished doing their activity, answering their activity, let's now close the time for the answering of the activity. So no more answering, class. So let's check if your answers are all correct. So here's the key answer for your activity. Number 1 is letter D. Got the correct answer. Okay, very good, class. And the number 2 is letter B. Number 3 is letter E. Number 4 is letter A. Number 5 is letter C. Number 6 is letter G. Number 7 is letter F. Number 8 is letter K. Number 9 is letter H. Number 10 is letter J. Number 11 is letter I. Number 12 is letter L. And number 13 is letter M. And number 14 is letter N. And number 15 is letter O. So who among you got the score of 15? Okay, so there are almost 80% of you got the correct answer. So very good, class. So that means that you really understood and you really listened to our discussion. So I really appreciate your active participation in this lesson. Thank you very much, class, for that. Let's come now to our quotation. It says here that sometimes, in order to save your loved one, you will have to be courageous even when facing danger. That is why love is also defined as sacrifice. So just as Anne Marie did, class, she did not hesitate to sacrifice herself just to help her Jewish friend Ellen, though that situation might possibly put her and her family in danger. That is not just the courage, but it's her love for her friend. And courage and sacrifice are one of the fruit of love. And courage and sacrifice are one of the fruit of love. And in Mark 12:31 in the scripture, it says that the second commandment is this: love your neighbor as you love yourself. There is no commandment greater than this. So that's what the Anne Marie and her family and the other Danish people did. And it says there that there is no commandment greater than love. So I hope that is all clear with us. And I hope, class, that you got a very inspiring lesson. And for your references, you can visit this references if you want to for your additional details. So that would be all. Thank you, class, for your time, for active listening and participation, and for not just listening but understanding what the lesson is saying. Thank you very much, class. Let's give ourselves a virtual claps with hearts reactions. Thank you. Goodbye, class. Class dismissed.